celebrate this milestone, 40 years of the Benedictine Center. The center is an opportunity to encounter Christ in everyone who comes through our doors. And we hope they feel the love and care as they enter into our lives. So we are so grateful that you are here today as we mark the 40th anniversary of the founding of the Benedictine Center. The retreat ministry that our sisters have nurtured for 40 years has provided a place that blends peace and quiet, silence and conversation, personal reflection and shared programming. The Benedictine Center remains true to our intention to share our monastic heritage with others. Since its founding in 1983, the Benedictine Center has carried forward the values envisioned by its founder, Sister Veronica Novotny, and is carried forward by the leadership of the Benedictine Center and the monastic community with their support throughout the years. Those values are reverence for God, reverence for creation, hospitality toward all, beauty and simplicity, silence and prayer. These values create a setting for those who seek to gain a deeper awareness of God, a greater understanding of self, and a special love for one another and unity of all persons. The Benedictine Center continues to carry on the legacy of hospitality to which Sister Veronica was committed. Thank you for marking this 40th anniversary with us today. A special thank you to Mary Ilg and Todd Twist, the co-directors of the Benedictine Center, Jason Whittick and Chris Fulkinson, and the many volunteers who support this meaningful ministry. Thank you also, Travis, and the Mission Advancement staff for organizing this gathering. We look joyfully to the future of the Benedictine Center, and we are grateful for your support. And so it is my pleasure to introduce to you Jeff Doles, an oblate of this monastic community, and a great friend and advocate for the Benedictine Center. I also found out he is celebrating his 40th wedding anniversary.
Thank you, Sister Catherine. Good evening, everyone. On behalf of the Benedictine Center Advisory Committee, I'd like to thank you all and welcome you all here to the celebration of the 40th anniversary of the center. I came along relatively late in the history of the Benedictine Center, so I acknowledge the leadership of all the past and present directors, staff, advisors, and volunteers who have worked alongside the sisters to gift our local community with this hidden gem that is the Benedictine Center. As you know, this year also marks the 75th anniversary of the monastery, and we mark that occasion with a commemorative book called Walking Monastery Way. And for that book, I had the privilege of writing the chapter on the Benedictine Center. And as I researched in the archives of the monastery on the history of the center, I was amazed at the courage, the trust, and the innovation of the sisters in saying yes to Sister Veronica's invitation to create a center for Benedictine spiritual outreach in the Twin Cities. The sisters recognized and affirmed the hunger for spiritual practice in our wider community and the call to meet that need with a center to engage those practices. I was also struck by the spirit of innovation that was present at the founding and has continued to guide program development at the Benedictine Center. From traditional prayer forms of Lectio Divina and centering prayer and Taizé, the center has continued to innovate in the development of spiritual practices that combine the Benedictine tradition with new ways of expressing that tradition. This spirit of innovation is what gives me great hope for the future of the Benedictine Center. It continues today with one of our newest offerings, the Care Benedictine Wellness Program. Created and developed by Oblate Terry Rose, Benedictine Care integrates contemplative practices, the Benedictine monastic heritage, therapeutic lifestyle programming to enable sustainable changes in the lives of participants. Terry has shared how her vision for Benedictine care was inspired by the influence of Sister Virginia and her teachings on biospiritual focusing. Benedictine Care is an exciting entrepreneurial new program that integrates mind, body, and spirit in a way that brings healing to the whole person and can be the basis for lasting change in the lives of its participants. So I'd like to thank you all for coming this evening to celebrate the Center's history, but more importantly, to join us as we imagine and build a hopeful future that continues in the spirit of courage, trust, and innovation of the sisters. As friends of the Benedictine Center, I invite you to invest in this hopeful future in whatever way you can and continue the legacy of Sister Veronica's dream long into the future. And with that, it's my honor to welcome Sister Virginia, who's been the common thread for these 40 years.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you all and for your presence with us tonight. It is my delight that we are all here to celebrate the Benedictine Center. I need to begin with my grateful heart for my classmate, Sister Veronica Novotny, whose wisdom and vision to create a spirituality center in our former monastery and how it has flourished over these 40 years. Not without any difficulty and challenges, prayer, and joys. Sister Mary White and I were blessed to be part of that first staff. Sister Veronica would be so happy to be here with us tonight, but I know her presence is here in our hearts. The special gift we offer through our Benedictine community is welcoming guests into our monastic home and the rhythm of life, that all are invited to pray with us in chapel and to take part in our dining room. This truly is St. Benedict's invitation to welcome all as Christ. This call continues to be lived out by our staff today, Mary Ild, Todd Twist, and dear Chris Fulkerson. For 24 years, she has poured love into each retreat room as she prepared it for our next guest. Over and over, we hear our guests, "Oh, it is so beautiful and peaceful here. I need this time for quiet and listening to God and to rest." Now, I would like to share a few highlights over the years. First, our dear Father Thomas Keating blessed us many times with his presence, bringing contemplative prayer through the teaching of centering prayer. Our Minnesota Contemplative Outreach community continues this journey through the many parishes and centering prayer groups, retreats, and using Zoom to bring communities together. Sister Mary White's vision of the Downtown Prayer Center at Assumption Parish and in St. Paul, teaching centering prayer in other forms. Busy people could drop in, rest, use a library, have time to share with one another. Patricia Roberts brought incarnational spirituality, body, mind, and spirit, through Lectio Divina and centering prayer, Tai Chi, teaching biospiritual focusing, honoring our body's wisdom. My deep appreciation for Sister Carol Rennie's and Sam Rayberg's vision with the invitation for Sister Meg Funk's teaching on the early practices of Benedictine spirituality, in which our School of Lectio Divina and School of Discernment has been taught to many. In closing, I invite you to enjoy our art exhibit and the beauty around the monastery, the arts and beauties of our deep charism for Benedictines. And we are happy for all the artists who shared their gifts. It has been my blessing and deep joy to have journeyed with the Benedictine Center over these 40 years, living out our hospitality through welcoming all as Christ. I am deeply grateful for your presence and for each of your bringing Christ to each of us. Thank you that in all things God may be glorified.
My name is Travis Salisbury. I'm the Director of Mission Advancement for the Sisters and for the Center, and I have the unique opportunity, the great privilege of making invitations to people to join in this great work, not only as financial partners, but as prayer partners and advocates and friends in so many different and diverse ways. And tonight I really want to start by thanking St. Therese Senior Living, who is a sponsor for this evening, making this possible for us. St. Therese has been a great friend and partner of the monastery from the very first. Please join me in thanking St. Therese Homes for their support of our sisters. The food this evening, I didn't hear terribly too many complaints, so I hope you all got a full belly. This is done by Douay out of St. Paul, right across from St. Kate. So they cut us a really nice deal this evening and are become good friends of the monastery. So if you feel an urge for more Italian food, please patronize them and support a small local business in St. Paul. It's worthy of our time and our effort. One of my great privileges is talking not about what we do or how we do it. We have a great staff that I get to minister alongside. Todd and Mary, my great mission advancement team, all the sisters, and our great staff from HR to finance. You have a great team here who make sure that Benedict is known and loved every single day. So I don't have to really talk about the what and the how. I really get to talk about the why, and that is one of the greatest things to ever get to talk about, the why. Jesus Christ, right? The world needs Benedict. The world just needs Benedict. His times were not so much different than our own. You know, the divisiveness, the wars, the famines, the diseases, everything he was wrestling with, we're wrestling with. And we have the benefit 1,500 years later of having his little book that guides us every single day to remind us how to be the whole person, to keep death daily before our eyes, to make sure that in all things God is glorified. And that happens every single day here at St. Paul's Monastery, not just in the prayer life of our sisters, which they invite you every day to come and join them, by the way. Please come 3 times a day. It's a wonderful way to anchor your life. But also through our Benedictine Center, which is, it's here, it's up at Hill Murray with our great friends up at Hill Murray who live this and instill it in our young people so they not only appreciate Benedictine spirituality, but Lasallian spirituality as well. And so my great honor is to invite you to help make sure that this sustains and is empowered for another 40 years, and 40 years after that, and 40 more years after that. It is too important to not let people know who Benedict is and why his wisdom has endured and adapted and become beautiful. Jeff talked about Benedictine Care, which is really our most exciting new thing that we're doing right now. And Terry, I'm sure would be very glad to talk to you a little bit more about that for sure. I'd be happy to talk to you about that as well. But please know that many of you got an email from me this morning about a really unique opportunity. We have a $5,000 matching grant opportunity. I sent this email at 11 o'clock this morning. Before I came out to see you all today, we are halfway there. If you feel inspired to help us get all the way there, or you know other people who have the capacity who are deeply as moved by we are to make sure that the spiritual person is cultivated and know that there are places like the Benedictine Center, like Hill Murray, like Loyola Spirituality Center, our sister Joanne's here as well, There are these hubs in the Twin Cities that make sure the whole person is cared for. And that is definitely something that we value here at St. Paul's Monastery. So we invite you to be a partner to make sure that we can keep expanding this hospitality, keep expanding our outreach to our parishes, to our clergy, to our Protestant sisters and brothers. And this is a place where truly all are welcomed as Christ. And what a gift that is to find a spiritual community where we can say that and believe it and know that it is true. So thank you for being a great partner. You're still going to get emails from me all the time with invitations to join with us. But really the most important thing is please come home here as much as you can. This is a home for you, and we really want you to come back home as much as you can. Be with our sisters. Just come and pray and have a meal. No other expectation. If you'd like to stay overnight, we have some retreat brochures over here, and I hope that you picked up one of our postcards. They just arrived today. They're hot off the press. We have at least 5 amazing programs in the next semester alone. So please come, make yourself available to this, and please know that we are always here for you. So thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting the Benedictine Center. Thank you for continuing to support the Benedictine Center as we live into the next 40 years. God bless you all, and as we already heard, so that in all things, God may be glorified. Thanks be to God for that. There's still a lot of food, there's still a lot of cake, and there's still a lot of wine. So in the best of the Catholic tradition, go enjoy, eat merrily, feel guilty about it tomorrow. Thank you all.